as a little girl growing up in the Cherokee Nation, you couldn't think of a more wonderful place for a child, especially a child with a very vivid imagination. And I wrote my first book in the first grade.
Oh my gosh. That's wonderful.
It was the first, my first book, but just the beginning of many to come. Go ahead.
Do you still have that manuscript? Has it been published, or?
My grandmother has it. It's kind of like a supernatural thriller. It was called Grandma and the Water Gnome.
Oh my goodness. I love it.
And not to mention, the Cherokee culture is matriarchal. And so women are expected to be at the center of the family. They're expected to be in leadership roles in all decision making. The chief of the Cherokee Nation was Chief Wilma Mankiller. And she actually wrote my letter of recommendation into law school.
Oh, wow.
But I wanted to go to law school because I was just really interested in constitutional law. One of my favorite stories about that was in con law. The very first case we studied was the Cherokees being removed from their land on the Trail of Tears to Oklahoma. And the first line of the decision, of the opinion written by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court said, "The United States has always honored its treaties with the native tribes." I couldn't help it. I had to say right off the bat, how can I respect your opinion when the first sentence you say to me is an outright lie? But I think that's really why it's important that we have people from all different walks of life represented in our institutions, because when we tell each other stories that we might not have heard otherwise, then it can open up your mind to other possibilities. So I realized that the theme of justice runs through everything I've ever written, everything I've ever done, and I think it was one of those things that I was just born with. But I got hired at a manufacturing plant to be the in-house counsel. So my job was to make sure that they were compliant with employment law, labor law, environmental law. And I loved it because I could be a corporate attorney, but what I loved about it was that I was working with the people, the employees of the plant. These were welders and like really hardworking people, and I was able to advocate for them. And then the company sold to a larger corporation. He was rude and cruel, I would say, to the employees. And I just thought, I can't stand by and watch this person abused. I couldn't stay. Yeah. And in the meantime, I had this book that just kind of downloaded in my brain. It's still just an insane notion to leave a steady, dependable, well-paying job to go pursue a career in the arts that makes no sense. And a lot of people thought I was crazy, and they still do. Till the wheels fall off and burn.
Till the wheels fall off and burn. This will be the longest podcast so far. I love it. We're going 3 hours, folks.
Woo! Buckle in.
Buckle in, y'all. We're going to talk about Jesus and all kinds of stuff.
But I had written like a review of Bob Dylan at the Brady Theater in Tulsa.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and it got published. So besides my book in the first grade, this was my first taste of writing something and seeing it go out in the public having a very strong response. So I was driving one day and a song came on the radio, and it was a Leon Russell song. When I heard the song, this book just came into my brain, just like the whole story. I was driving and with one hand and writing as fast as I could the outline of this story. And then everything happened with the company, and I just decided I'm going to move back home and finish writing this book and publish it. So I didn't have the patience to follow the traditional publishing path. So I sent out a couple of query letters, but not only did I not get rejected, they just didn't read it. And then my third book just kind of fell in my lap. It was not my plan. That was the true crime book, Now I Lay Me Down. And that happened because I went to law school with a woman who was kind of an outsider like me.
Uh-huh.
And we ran into each other at a music festival, and she said, "I've got a book for you to write." And I just thought, oh, great. So she told me the story, which I had no idea she had been going through, of prosecuting this triple homicide. So she told me the story by the river, around a campfire, and it was almost like a sign, you know, like the owls were hooting, the coyotes were screaming, and she was telling this story, and I was just covered in goosebumps.
Oh my gosh.
She said, this is absolutely a book. Yes, we have to write, you know. Was when the principal from my old high school contacted me. You know, we really need a creative writing teacher, and I think you'd be great at it. The Washington Post had written an article, a national article about our hometown that said, the strawberry capital of the world is the death capital of the United States. We were dying in our town 20 years younger than the national average. And so my kids were so mad about it. Research this article and we'll answer the Washington Post as a class.
Oh my goodness. I love it.
They brought our congressman into the school. They recorded their interviews with the congressman, with the chief of police, with the mayor. They interviewed the Department of Environmental Quality, and they just laid it out there. They were like, why is this happening? And if it's true, what can we do to change it? At the end, they ended up uncovering, this is wild, but they ended up uncovering a uranium processing plant that had been brought in from California. And it had like an explosion in the 70s, and then the DEQ and everybody, the EPA, hit on it, and so they started finding them. So it was a shell company, so they filed bankruptcy and left all of their nuclear waste right next to our river. And I get an email, and it's from NPR, and they were like, "You guys are finalists. This is one of the best pieces of investigative journalism we've ever seen." This production company had contacted me about my third book, Now Lay Me Down, to make a documentary about that. And I said, yeah, but also let me tell you about what's happening with this weird case with the Girl Scout murders. And they were like, whoa, that is absolutely a docuseries. And so they started documenting my experience as I was trying to get this information to the authorities and try to get the case reopened.
Right.
And so that is streaming. Yes. So at the time that the Girl Scout stuff fell in my lap, I was in the process I had decided I was going to study screenwriting. So the way I wrote, they played like a film when they read, which was a huge compliment. But so I thought, well, I don't know, maybe I'll study screenwriting. Started writing the screenplay of Man Killer Shell by fictionalizing my experience of going to teach and coming across an unsolved crime. And so it's not the story of the Girl Scouts, but it's a fictionalized version of a teacher who had left the reservation and come back and had this bonding experience with students, and then they became the target of a serial killer. So I wrote that screenplay in 2022, put it aside, and started working on other projects. And then I was in Los Angeles for the LA Film Festival, and I ran into this producer, and just by chance, and she hit me up. She said, do you happen to have any screenplays? And I was like, yeah. I was working on a TV series at the time. I said, yeah, I guess.
Wait a minute. You were working on a TV series?
Well, I've been writing a TV series. It's not made. It's not.
Oh my gosh.
It's not been made, but I've written a TV series called Cadaver Dog. But
I'd love to.
And actually, we had a table read with these incredible actors reading my screenplay out like an actor from a Martin Scorsese film. And
oh my gosh.
Could you imagine having somebody read your words out loud at a table read?
Oh, I couldn't.
The producer came on and said, let's make it. And so it's been in development.
Really?
And our plan is for it to go into production next year. The really exciting part is that it will be filmed here in the Cherokee Nation. That makes me really proud too, because I'm able to bring jobs and some opportunity, and to hopefully I'll be able to put some of my students on a film set. It's been a blast.
Oh, I know. We'll stay in touch for sure.
Yeah, you're good at this. You're natural.
Oh, I have a thank you. Oh my God, I'm blushing. Tell your friends. Okay.
I will. I'll tell everybody. Shout it from the mountaintops.